What is good, y'all? Welcome to Let's Cap. I am your host, Ronald Cabang from wagertalk.com and themoneyballer.com. Started a little bit late today. I see you already ski. I count it as late. If you move the start time, I see you ski. So 30 minutes later than normal, but I'm just kind of got a headache today. I'm a little tired. I got a headache. But hopefully we can get through the show pretty quickly here. But we have two games in the W. We'll talk about a couple games in the MLB. If you guys can drop those games in the chat, we'll go through those with Munaf. And then if we have time too, we'll try to get through the NFL game tonight. NFL is back. We got Thursday night football, the Chiefs and the Ravens, and see if we can come up with a play there. I don't have any bet on that game either, so we'll see if we come up with anything today. But let's start off with the W. I'll share my screen here. Let me just check something on Underdog real quick with the injuries. So no big injuries in this game specifically for the Storm and the Liberty. All right, so let's go to the Money Baller real quick. Bring that up. So we have the Liberty 8-point favorites at home. Totals at 164.5. I think I'm pretty sure there's like 165s. Actually, it's coming down a little bit. So earlier this morning, I saw 165s, and it's coming down to, we're seeing 163.5 at some places. And the line did open up at 7.5. Bet Online does have a 7.5 still. We have some baller systems on both sides, an over system for teams that have a rematch within 7 days. If we look at the schedule, the Storm, this is the last game of a 3-game road trip. They only traveled once though, or twice, sorry, because they were in Connecticut for 2 straight games. In the same time period, the Liberty, they hadn't played since they played the Storm on the 30th of last month. And that's what, a 5 or 6 day rest period. And we'll talk about kind of rest versus rust here in a little bit. Historical matchups, third of the season. Liberty did take care of business in the last one. They won by 13. They won the first game by 11, but the Storm did cover that one, and they split the over and under. And I'll take the stats and go to after the Olympic break. You can see here Liberty number 1 in defensive rating, pace of play, both of them towards the upper half of the league, but I mean sort of, I would say like towards the middle of the pack actually. Really close in pace. Offense and defensive rating has come down a little bit after the Olympic break for the Storm. If we look at the 4 factors here, you can see offensive rebounds. Rebounds definitely on the side of the Liberty, but look at the Storm here, turnover rate and turnover rate forced compared to the Liberty's turnover rate, dead last in the league. And you saw that in the game on the 30th where the Liberty, they had, I think, like 16 turnovers compared to just 5 for the Storm. So I think that's another thing that the Storm could take advantage of today. Obviously, like I mentioned earlier, Liberty offensive rebounds, second chance points. They did dominate that in that other matchup as well. If we look at scoring, you could see that correlation with the points off turnovers. First in the league since the Olympic break. And the other part was right here, second chance points. That's also correlated with the rebounds that we saw earlier. We see this fast break points here allowed dead last in the league after the break for the Liberty. So even though the Storm are 8th, I think that's something that they could take advantage of here. Another thing that I could see the Storm do well at in this matchup is the mid-range game. You can see the defensive percentage allowed in the mid-range, and the Storm do take a lot of mid-range attempts as well as paint attempts in the paint. 3-point shooting definitely on the Liberty side here. If we look towards the trends, straight up first half, Storm have been doing well there, but then they kind of tail off in the second half of the game. Opposite here for the Liberty. And then ATS, from an ATS perspective, 1-7 ATS since the break. Really struggling in this after the break, except that one win did come as a road dog. Home favorites, not a good spot here for the Liberty. And I'll bring this over to full season trends in a little bit. But if you look at OU unders for the game here on both sides, as far as like the spot. So rest advantage, rest disadvantage, unders, road dog under, home favorite under, opponent team total under. So defense for the Liberty definitely solid in this spot here. If we go to full season, including prior to the Olympic break, this home favorite spot from an ATS perspective, not a good one for the Liberty. 5-11 in the first half, 4-12 full game. Unders for the Storm in this spot here as road dogs. Liberty 9-7 to the over on the full game as home favorites. Team totals not good here for the Storm towards the under. But their defense does show up typically. Here's one thing too: when they're more rested, the Liberty strong on the defensive side of the ball. Opponents are 8-1 to the under when that happens. I would look towards actually the Seattle side here. They do have some revenge, and then the rest versus rest angle. I'll just bring that up here real quick. So if we go rest greater than or equal to 5-0 rest less than or equal to 1. I think that was it. All right, so when a team has at least 5 days of rest compared to the opponent with just one or less, like or potentially on the back to back, and then they're the home favorite. In the history of the database, 17, 27, and 2. So that says to fade the Liberty. And I believe if the previous game was away, the percentage comes a little bit better. Actually, it's not. It's about the same. So 6, 10, and 2. So percentage is about the same. But I can only look towards the Storm side here for the revenge angle, and then the fact that the Liberty struggle to cover as home favorites. And then let's go to the second game real quick. I don't have a play on this one, so we'll just dive into it with an open mind here. See if we can come up with something. But we do have some. Actually, I didn't even notice this, but we do have some baller systems on the Mystic side. If we look towards the schedule, second game on the road here for the Mystics. They did come off of that win against Dallas. Mercury, this is the last game of a long homestand. Their offense has been struggling lately. You can see here 70, 76, 79, 74. And I know Washington's defense has been pretty solid after the break. Historical matchup on the season, third matchup of the season, both actually went over. And then Phoenix has won both matchups straight up, but split on the ATS. If we go post break, you can see right there. That's what I was talking about. After the Olympic break, Mystics defense has been really solid. But I believe I saw Austin is out. Yeah, Austin is out. So that's going to hinder their defense a little bit, especially within the paint. Let's go. Mercury, their offensive rating has struggled. Their defensive rating struggled. Their pace of play is very low. The thing about these efficiency or these ratings, if you look at like the surface level numbers, like effective field goal percentage, they're upper half of the league since the Olympic break. Their defensive effective field goal percentage allowed is actually number 2, right behind the Mystics. But the biggest thing is here is they don't force a lot of turnovers. Their turnover rate is really terrible as well. The rebounding, offensive and defensive rebounding, is not strong either. So that's what brings their rating down a little bit. If we look at scoring here, fast break points, you can see Mystics might be a good spot for them. Other than that, there's no real advantage on either side here. You can see 79.9 points per game allowed, but that has to do with their 11th in pace there. And you can see it's right there. The Mystics defense only allowing 80, even though that's 7th in the league. Their pace of play at 3, that's actually a really solid number there for that. If we go within the arc, that's where the Mercury have a lot of success, even though they don't shoot a lot from that point. They do have a high field goal percentage in there, but Mystics paint field goal percentage allowed pretty decent. Like I said, Shakira Austin missing might hurt that a little bit, especially in the mid range right here. That her length might hurt that as well. 3-point shooting, Mystics shooting a lot of threes. Haven't been super efficient from above the break, but just a week ago, I think this was actually dead last. So they have been shooting it a little bit more efficiently. The thing is, Mercury defense above the break 3 has been pretty solid. I think this is where the Mystics can get some 3 points in the corner field goal, three percentage allowed, struggling there for the Mercury. Straight up, pretty solid in these spots here, even as road dogs 2-1 for the Mystics. ATS wise, pretty solid in these spots as well as road dogs and home favorites for both of these teams. Split on the over and under. Right here, opponent team totals is where something shows up. So you can see here, Mystics opponents on the full game 6-2 to the under. Since the break, 3-0 to the under first half and full game as road dogs, and then 2-0 for to the under for the Mercury opponents when the Mercury are home favorites. Overall, I think that if we look at recent form, offense and defense, I gotta look towards the Mystics side. I'm not too sure why they're the Mercury are heavily favored at this point. I mean, I obviously I don't expect Washington to score 90. I mean, they played a really struggling defense here against the Wings, but they did score 85 against Connecticut. We know Connecticut is a strong defense. But I do think that this is more of a lower scoring game. In my opinion, I think defense will show up. I'm not sure Washington's offense is going to be like I said, the last two games. I'm not expecting 85 or 90 from them in this game here, especially if Phoenix does play a slower paced game. But I do think that Washington's defense should keep them in the game, and I would look towards Mystics plus the points here. All right, let's bring in. Oh shoot, I keep forgetting the banner and the chat. Hold on. So looking at the chat here, it looks like Ski's back. Storm and under. Yeah, I like Storm in that game. B Daddy is actually on the Liberty side already. Mark says first half under. I think that might be. Is that baseball? That looks like baseball because he says Nerfy. Helms under 166. I'm assuming that's this game. Yeah, 166. So does B Daddy. Mystics here for Helms. Mystics Peasy first half. Mystics first half. I mean, I don't think that's been. Let me just check real quick. First half after the Olympic break hasn't been as great. Well, still 5-3. Still 5-3. But if we go full season, there's definitely a spot here. 22, 9-2. So yeah, I mean, I can't talk you off that first half again, PZ. Maybe they're back onto that because I know right after the Olympic break, I think they failed to cover two straight in the first half. So I was thinking that trend was going to go back, but maybe that first half is the way to look here. You just check schedule. Yeah. Okay. All right. So Mystics on that one. All right. Let's bring over Muna. What up, bro?
Hey, what's going on, RC? How you doing, man?
Chilling. I actually didn't see the score, but did you hit the first five?
Yeah, that one got there. They got out to the Twins' first 5-run line.
First five, yeah.
They were up 4-0, and then I think I looked at the other score. They hit a single. I think
Scored
it's
two. I think it was
4-2.
bottom of the third, but
Yeah, and then Pablo Lopez did his job in the fourth and fifth. So
yeah,
feels good to get a winner started here on Thursday, though.
yeah, no, for sure. I got the full game. I didn't take the first five, so um hopefully they get the money line overall. But the other
Yeah.
thing I was looking at too was the Rays team total under. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't get there, but it looks like hopefully they stay under that.
Yeah.
Because I like, even though I don't bet them, if I'm reading a team correctly, that helps with like future bets and stuff. All right, let's go into the
Hey,
MLB.
real quick,
Yeah,
RC. I was listening to Kyle's show earlier, and they were talking about the Tampa game, like we were talking about. They were talking about the weather there as well. So I don't know if it's a running joke across the industry now because of
they
someone
were.
in your chat. Yeah.
That's crazy. It must be, there must be something going on. All right, let's go to the MLB. I think Mark brought up a couple games
Yeah.
earlier. Nats, Pirates, and then Braves, and then there's also a Giants game too. I'm not sure if anyone else brought some stuff up, but we'll go through those for now. We'll go with Nationals and Pirates first. All right, so Nationals, Pirates. Pirates like home favorites here. Totals at 8. We got Irvin versus Falter, righty versus lefty. Rating system leans towards the Nationals a little bit here. All right, so then schedule first game of the series. So Washington just played Nationals for a 2-game series. That's interesting. All right, and then uh Pittsburgh, came off a 3-game series against Chicago. They lost 12-0 yesterday. All
Yeah,
right. Irvin, last 5, dude, he's been struggling. Jesus. Ton
he's
of
been
home
bad.
runs here. That's crazy. Last game, 7 earned runs, 1.8 home runs given up per start in the last 5. If you look at Falter, he's been giving up runs too, but at least he's not giving up home runs. A little bit. I think both are okay with control. A little bit worse on the Irvin side than anything. If we look at full season trends here, both struggling. First 5 and full game, especially Falter in the first 5, 7-14-1, 0-2 as home favorites as well, but 2-0 on the full game. If we go to road dog situation for Irvin, first 5 is a good spot for him. 9 of his 10 first 5 wins are as road dogs. 9-4-3
Mhm.
spot right there. If we look towards the splits versus left-handed pitchers, Nationals versus left-handed pitchers in the first 5, pretty decent spot here, especially as road dogs. 11-6-2. So that goes with Irvin right there. And if we look towards the full game, 18-24 overall, 8-11 as road dogs. But Pirates versus right-handed pitchers is pretty solid as home favorites in the first 5, 12-8-6. But overall, 35, 47, and 17 in that first 5. Slight lean towards the over as home favorites versus right-handed pitchers for the Pirates there. If we look at last 30 days, first 5 is still a good spot for Irvin, 3-0 as road dogs. 1-4 for Falter overall. Overs, this becomes an over trend here in the last 30 days. And obviously we saw that with the last 5 starts for both of these guys. Both struggling in their spots here too. Nationals versus left-handed pitchers, 3-5-2 overall, 2-8 on the full game. But that first 5 is still a good spot as a road dog. Pirates 5-15-1. First 5, 6-15 full game. So struggling in the last 30 days versus right-handed pitchers and overs right there. That means what? Opponent team total overs potentially
Yep.
for that spot. If we look at the matchup, both offenses kind of struggling here, 4.2 and 4.1. But Nationals are hitting for average. Both teams really, they do have some solid speed. Nationals not striking out at a high rate, but it's just their barrel and hard hit rate. They're just not getting good contact on these hits. If we look at pitching matchup, ton of positive regression here on the Bailey Falter side. Irvin still kind of struggling here, and you can see the home runs right there given up. Bullpen strong for the Nationals, but Pirates kind of struggling here. See some positive regression on their side, but this seems like a really ugly matchup here. I mean, the only thing that really pops out is just the how big of a gap here the ERA to FIP is on the Falter side.
Yeah.
Do you think that he can bounce back in this situation? And would you look towards look towards the Pirate side here?
I think so. I'll probably expect a bounce back here from the Pirates after them getting throttled yesterday. What was it, 12-0? I believe was the
Yeah,
score
12
against the
nothing.
Cubbies. Yeah. The numbers look a lot better for Bailey Falter. Like you mentioned, Jake Irvin's just been in really, really bad form over his last 5 starts. And when you talk about getting into that bullpen as well, it's not very pretty for the Pirates. On the flip side, Jake Irvin, uh, after the All-Star break, in particular on the road, RC, um, the over is 3-1 in those games. I know we talked a lot about the metrics there for the pitchers,
Yeah,
getting up and over the total here. I'd
yeah,
lean towards the first 5 over here as well at 4.5. You take a look at the 3 road games that Jake Irvin has pitched this season after the All-Star break, 17 runs combined, 12, and then 10. The last game was the one that did go under. That was
yeah.
against the Braves. They lost 4-2 in that game. So I think first 5
Man, shit.
team total
Even though
over.
it was 4-2, look how many hits have they had 10 and 11 hits. Like they
Hmm.
just didn't put the base runners.
Yeah.
They didn't take them home. If we look, would you? All right. So I know it says 5-3-1 to the over in the first five, 7-2 to the
Full game.
over, full game. So this is Urban after the All-Star break. Um, would you? Are you looking toward when you say over? Are you looking towards the full game?
The number's 8.5 right now.
Yeah. Is it 8.5 or 8?
Let me
I'm seeing
see.
8.
Yeah, I see eights. Yeah, if it's eight, I'll go
It's come
full game
down.
over. Yeah, it came down. That's always a. But the first five is interesting. It's at 4.5. Typically with an 8, you would see a 4.
Mhm. So if we go to Falter, he's gone over in 4 straight starts. My worry is,
But why
so
is it
you can
8
see
though?
what are you saying?
But I was saying, why is it 8 though? Especially how bad
That's
these.
what I'm saying. So I really think there's, that positive regression we saw on the Falter side.
Yeah.
I it might be a situation where it's maybe a Nationals team total under. What is that, like a 3.5 or something?
Let me see.
Because if we go, I mean, if you look at all these right here, well, maybe not team total under. My bad. Not a team total under. Maybe just a bounce back situation on the Falter side. But if you look prior to the 4 overs right here, there's a whole bunch of unders right before that.
Yeah, and I think like you mentioned, right, with the positive regression that's due.
Yeah, favorite because he's not a favorite often. 0-3 in that first 5 as a favorite. The fuck? If we go back to the trends, everything kind of pointed towards first 5 on the national side, right? And Falter struggling in that first 5.
Yeah.
It's very confusing.
It's a lot of stuff that's like you mentioned, that's like going against each other. But my whole concern is why did the total, if it opened 8.5, why is it down to 8?
Got you.
And
Yeah.
that gives me a huge red flag.
That it's going towards the underside, right?
Yeah,
Um,
underside, yeah.
if we look at the schedule real quick, so Pittsburgh scored 0, Washington scored 3 in the last one. I mean, I think they're just expecting both offenses to continue to struggle, but both of these pitchers have been struggling. That's the problem. I
How have
would,
the bullpens been? I know you mentioned the bullpen numbers, at least over the last like 2 weeks. I know Pirates has been really, really bad.
yeah. No, it does show here. Even the last 30 days, Nationals bullpen's a lot better than the Pirates here. Would you just do first 5, rely on Falter, maybe look at Falter's positive regression here, and Jake Irvin kind of just struggling. Just think about the first 5 because I wouldn't want to back Pirates full game if their bullpen's still struggling, and Nationals really have the advantage there.
The interesting part is that the Pirates' first 5 money line is around -10. Sorry, full game Pirates is -116. Their first 5 is -125.
So it is
So
shaded
it's
towards
shaded
them.
towards Pirates in the first 5.
Yeah.
So I would look at Pirates' first 5 then.
That would probably be the way I look too.
Yeah.
Pirates first 5.
I think GB dropped a trend in there for teams that got hit by or lost by 10 or more.
Damn.
I think it's like very profitable towards the excuse me, the over.
Okay. All right, home favorites who lost by 10, at least 10 in their previous match. 10-7-1 to the over, 10-6-2 to the under in the first 5. This is like
That's interesting.
yeah, and 6-10-2 money line in the first 5. Let's look at first game of the series. Damn. I don't like that.
5-1 towards the full game over.
5-1 to the full game over. Yeah. Let me just pull in a couple other season here. So 2020, 12, 9, and 6. So historically, first 5 is still a good spot here. It's just this season, 1
Just
and
to
5.
say, yeah, it has been
Yeah.
profitable.
Yeah. I would still look towards the Pirates here.
He said try on Killer. 'Cause I think I looked on Killer. I had a bigger.
Sample size?
No, I think the percentage was better towards. I think the full game over. I think it was like 14-6, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh,
At least for this season.
oh, gotcha. All right.
Yeah, 14-6-1. GB is mentioning.
14, 6, and 1. Damn that. Okay, yeah. 14, 6, and 1 to the over. Is there do they show first 5 on here?
That's the thing I hate about Killer is that they don't have first 5.
I mean, they have the data. I don't know why they don't put it there. I'm gonna have to talk to Mr. Sack.
Yeah,
Right.
shoot him a message.
Okay. Yeah, over makes sense too. But like you said, I'm kind of scared about that under or like
Then why they come down?
yeah, we might be
Yeah.
missing something.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll just do. I would just lean Pirates first 5. All right, let's go to the next game, and that
Said
was
GB saying S5 shows you scores by inning.
yeah. So S5 would be score the first 5.
Just the first
You
5.
yeah. So if it was like S4, you would say that would be score after the 4th inning or
Okay,
something.
got you.
Yeah. Let's go to I think it was it Braves?
Braves and God, who are they playing
Giants.
today?
Yeah, so he said Braves and then Giants. So we got Rockies, Braves here. Braves heavy home favorites. Total is at 8. You got Gomber lefty versus Lopez righty. Rating system does agree with the side here. Braves. If we go to the schedule, last game of the series here, 3-5, 3-0, 5-2. So Braves going for the sweep. Gomber last 5 starts has been giving up home runs pretty consistently here, but and runs. I mean, he's kind of at least he's consistent. I mean, I could say that. And then if you look at Lopez's side, doesn't give up as many home runs. Really solid the last 4 starts. This one right here, only three innings. He must have got hurt because there's a big gap between the 28th and the 20th right there. So he's come back and been pretty solid so far. So if we go to the trends, full season trends here. Road dog for Gomber, 6-8-1 first 5, 5-10 on the full game, 10-16 overall. Strong for Lopez here, 12-6-5 first 5, 14-9 full game. Pretty decent as home favorites. Really strong towards the under for Lopez too on the season, 15-4-2 to the under in the first 5, 17-4 and why is there 2 missing? There must be some pushes here. 17-4-2 on the full game. We'll look into that. That's off by 2 games in the first 5. Splits versus right-handed pitchers. We have Rockies road dog situation on the full game, not great. 14-33. Braves versus left-handed pitchers, really solid on the season. 28-14 full game, 13-5 as home favorites, and then first 5, 26-12-4 overall. More unders, especially as home favorites here versus left-handed pitchers. So that seems like they're just limiting opponents here with their pitching staff. If we go last 30 days, 2-1 full game, 1-4. 2-1 for Lopez, 1-4 for Gomber. Unders here for Gomber, 4-1 to the under overall. Versus left-handed pitchers, Braves still pretty strong in the last 30 days. 8-2-1 in the first 5, 8-3 on the full game. Unders here, 4-0 to the under first 5 and full game versus left-handed pitchers as home favorites. And then road dog situation for the Rockies, overs 3-1 to the over. If we look at the batting matchup, definitely towards the Braves side. Power on their side, they're really relying on that home run ball right now. 43 home runs. both teams striking out at a very high rate, especially the Rockies here, and Lopez, strong strikeout pitcher here. So it seems like Rockies right now team total under type of play at this point. Lopez's numbers last three starts in the last 30 days have been really strong. I don't see a ton of negative regression or anything like that. Gomber giving up runs consistently, giving up home runs, not a strikeout pitcher either. And Rockies bullpen even not even great either. Braves bullpen do have, you can see some positive regression there. I would look towards this right here, the favorites. So obviously it's hard to take the Braves at this number.
Mhm.
This tells me that they're limiting opponents at 4-0 to the under in this situation. I would look towards Rockies team total under in this spot here. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I was leaning towards the under in this game, just in general, whether it's first five or full game. You mentioned Lopez at home in particular, towards the unders, but as a home favorite, Lopez this season 8-2-1 towards the under. That's 80%. So kind of correlates with what you mentioned, right? The Rockies team total under, whether you want to go first five or full game. But you also take a look at um, the Braves. I know their offense got it going a little bit, but I don't think they've scored more than like 4 runs in this first. I know they had 5 yesterday, 5-2 win, 3-0 against the Rockies in that first game. So it seems like it's going to be a Rockies team total under is what you're mentioning, RC. I think that makes a whole heck of a lot of sense.
Yeah. All right. So what I'm pulling here, Braves as home favorites when they're favored by at least minus 200.
Yeah.
So 21-7 straight up. Obviously, we're not gonna bet that 290 or whatever it is, but that 27-1 to the under pops out a lot. And then if you look at the averages, at least for the full game, it's 3.1. I'm assuming is there team total 3.5 juice to the under
for
the Rockies?
Let's see here.
Go here. I can't look at that. 2.930. So
what's the full game total?
8.
Okay, then you probably a 3.5 heavily juiced. Let me double check here.
8. Look at a string of unders here. It's crazy. Rockies. All right, Rockies scored 0 and 2. I would think that it would be Colorado. Oh fuck! It's 2.5 juice to the over.
Yeah, that's what I see too.
That's gross.
Yeah, 2.5 minus 145.
That's gross. 2.5. It would probably just be the full game under then.
How have Braves done against starting left-handed pitching?
In this spot specifically, or just in general?
Just in general, or you could do in this spot too.
Actually, let me just
have it up.
Yeah. Oops. Let me go back here. 9-1 straight up, 7-3 on the run line, 7-3 to the under. So 1, 2, and 3 games went over 2.5. So it still tells me team total under on their side.
The Rockies,
if you don't want to take, if you don't think the run line hits, let's. This is last game of the series, right?
Yeah,
Let's do
third game. Yeah.
Last game of the series, 6-0 to the under.
Dang, look at those numbers. Barely getting to 5.5.
Yeah.
They haven't hit 8.
The under.
Full game under.
Full game under 8. Let me check one more thing. So we go Rockies. And then we'll go. One and 4 on the run line too. Man, they give up a whole bunch of runs.
It may just be Rockies team total under, but 2.5. I don't like that.
Yeah, no. All right, so let me just do last game of the series and series game equals 3. So avoiding the
Damn.
sweep, it's towards the over.
Yeah. Do road.
Oh yeah,
Because yeah, I think a lot of those games are probably at home for them. So
6-1.
6-1.
That's so gross.
There has to be a game in there where they give up a lot of runs. Give up
Well,
11.
this one right here. I mean,
But
they're
even the last
scoring. I
two.
mean, they're scoring over four or more in a bunch of these. It's like the total opposites here. There has to be a way that we can back. I mean, 4.5 for the Braves seems a little bit too much, right? 4.5.
Yeah, 4.5, and it's heavily juiced to the over too, like minus
What's the first
140.
half? First
First
half.
five
Yeah, first 5
for
for the Braves.
2.5 minus 125.
2.5. All right, so we go back real quick. All right, so 3.86 in that first 5. If we go back towards the Braves one, they're scoring 2.5. I mean, they scored 0 right here. Let's take that game out real quick. So we go 8 less than or equal to 20.
The first 5 totals 4.5 as well.
I don't understand it. And these games suck. It's Mark's fault. He picked these games. I mean, I mean, run line. What would the run line be? Go spread first 5.
They're like minus 125, minus 130.
One
Are
minus
you talking
one.
about first 5?
Yeah, first
Yeah, this
5
is north.
run line is minus 150. I mean, that's not bad. And you would think that they would be up in the first 5 there. I mean, out of everything that we talked about, I think that would probably be the way that I go at minus 150. It's juice, but it seems that should be the way to go here. Not only so we go back here, right? We can even pull in the last one and just say,
Yeah, they were up 2-0 in game 1 and 4-2 in game 2.
yeah.
The
So even in this
Braves
instance here, they're up
by
at least
1.
1. And then if we go to the Rocky side, and we do the opposite again, so we go greater than equal to 200. Dang it. That first 5 about 1.8. So I would say first 5 run line on the Brave side. That would probably be the way that I go on this one.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Let's do the last one he mentioned was Giants. Diamondbacks, Giants. Diamondbacks hooked it up yesterday. All right, so we go Diamondbacks, Giants, Kelly versus Snell, righty versus lefty. Slight lean towards the Diamondbacks on the rating system. We do have a baller system though on the Giants side, so that kind of cancels each other out. Diamondbacks 6-4 yesterday, 8-7, so they're also going for the sweep. Last game of the series. Kelly, last 5 starts, he's been struggling here. I mean, typically he's better at home, but in the last one he faced the Dodgers. 3 home runs, 4 earned runs, given up 6 total. Kind of struggling with control as well. If we look at Snell, he's still doing really well. Last 5 starts, pretty solid. Some control issues too, though. If we look at full season trends, Kelly 3-3-2 in the first 5, 4-4 in the full game. Snell a little bit better here, 6-4-5. First 5, 9-6 full game, but then as home favorites, 4-2, 4-2-1, and 5-2 in the full game. Overs on the full game for Kelly, 6-2. Diamondbacks versus left-handed pitchers. First 5 is a good spot for them, 23, 18, and 9. on the overall, and then as road dogs 7-4-1. Giants not great in the first five versus right-handed pitchers overall, 40, 47-13, but home favorites 20, 14-4. And then full game is even better, 24-14 as home favorites. Totals unders here on the full game as home favorites for Giants versus right-handed pitchers, 24, 13-1 to the under. Overs for the Diamondbacks though versus left-handed pitchers, especially in that first five, as road dogs, 8-2-2 to the over. Let's go to last 30. 4-1 on the full game for Snell, 2-0-3 in the first five, 1-3 in the first five for Kelly. All overs for Kelly here, 4-0 to the over first five in full game. Left-handed pitchers versus left-handed pitchers last 30 days, 5-3-1 in the first five, just 4-5 on the full game. First time as a road dog in the last 30. Giants versus right-handed pitchers kind of struggling here. Last 30 days. If we look towards the totals, all overs overall, but unders 6-4 to the under as home favorites on the full game. Splits or the matchup offense definitely to the Diamondbacks side. Their offense has been strong for quite a while. They do rely on power. Giants striking out at a very high rate. Not a lot of power on their side. Struggling just offensively overall. If you look at the pitching matchup, Kelly though definitely struggling from a on his side. Snell doing a great job there. So this is kind of just canceling each other out at this point. If we look at the bullpen, both pretty solid here. Even some positive regression on the Diamondback side. This matchup is kind of ugly too. I mean, this cancels each other out, right?
Yeah.
And if you go to the bullpens are really solid. Only way that I could think of playing this would be like a live under after the starters come out, or something like that. I can't really get to the side because I know Snell has been really solid, but the Diamondbacks offense is solid. Not sure if the Giants could get they could probably hit Kelly, but overall they don't have a ton of power, and that's where he's giving up the runs is the home runs. What are your thoughts on this one?
This is another game that the total you're looking at. The full game is 7, and the first 5 total is at 4. It's choose to the under, around -130. But I mean, like you mentioned, it's a lot of stuff that's conflicting each other as well, right? I know Giants at -185 for the first 5 and -153 for the full game. I think if you like the Giants, you probably want to look at them in the first 5 innings.
Giants in the first 5. All right,
Yeah.
so Giants last game of the series trying to avoid the sweep of a 3-game series, right? First 5, 5-2-2. So that kind of goes with what you just mentioned. 6-3 on the full game, 6-3 to the over in the first 5, but just 5-4 over full game. So that kind of goes with the live under look probably.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can see the amount of runs being scored in that first 5 here, but I think a lot of that is probably from these 2 games right here. You can actually see Snell in here against the Yankees, and they lost 5-7. Let's do Diamondbacks last game of the series and trying to go for the sweep. 5-4. So 2-3-4 in the first 5. 7-1-1 to the over full game. Do you think Diamondbacks can hit Snell?
They are one of the better hitting teams against left-handed pitching. I'm trying to see right now how the Diamondbacks have done against Blake Snell.
Because if you think they can get Snell, I think the over is probably the way to go.
Let's see. Hold on.
Over or Giants first 5. But the Giants' first 5 money line would be kind of juiced, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's minus 185.
Yeah, I wouldn't fuck with that.
And the
It
full
would
game is
be. It would probably be the. It would probably be an over type.
so Blake Snell faced the Diamondbacks earlier this season. This was all the way back. I think this was his first start of the season, if I'm not mistaken, but
Mhm.
they smacked him 5 earned runs, 4 2/3 inning. But it was his first start, so I don't take a lot from that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he hasn't been too bad over his last 5 starts. So even his last 4 starts, they all uh, 3 of the 4 have gone under the number of 7. The only one that did it was a push against Seattle 4-3, but he only lasted 3 innings in that game.
Gotcha. All right. So versus starting lefties, 3.56 in the first 5. 3.56 in the first 5. I mean,
Snell is also familiar with this Diamondbacks team because he was with the Padres and they're obviously being in the same division. So he's seen them before.
yeah.
And his career numbers against the Diamondbacks are really good. 5-2, 5-2 with an ERA of 1.86.
All right. So like what I'm thinking, man, there's like a lot of huge numbers here that could be kind of a little bit misleading. But if you look at this right here, 8-2-2 to the over in that first 5. I think Kelly can get hit, and then if Diamondbacks can get to Snell like they did last time, or just in general of how they bat against lefties,
Mm-hmm.
I think that first 5 is probably the way to go. First 5 over.
First 5/4. For three and
Yeah.
a half is probably out there.
Is it 3.5?
The full game is 7.
First 5 over.
So you should be a 3.5. Probably choose like minus 125, minus 130.
4.5. 4.5 juice to the under. Wait, what? Sorry, wrong game. My bad. I was looking at Braves. 3.5 juice to the over, or 4 juice to the
4
under.
just under, yeah. So you
Gotcha.
can see like a 3-1, maybe 2-2 type of game.
Yeah. All right, first 5 over on that one. So Juice thinks that Snell's gonna get touched right there. Actually, let's look at D-backs angle right here from GB. I'll use killer. So it looks like that's what he uses mainly. So, wait, did I pull this? I don't think. Maybe I did. I don't know. 11-4 straight up. 12-3 on the run line. Fuck, man, I wish they had. All right, let me go take this. Right at 4 in that first 5. Road dog. Let's go total. What's the name? Man, that's gross.
There's a lot of conflicting stuff.
Yeah, a lot of conflicting stuff. That's why I only bet the shit. I don't even know if they won. Still got the Twins live.
Yeah, it's still bottom 8 right now.
I would still lean towards the first 5 over. Maybe the 3.5 better than the 4. Yeah. Any more thoughts on this one?
No, I mean, I really couldn't come to a side here.
This one's tough. Yeah. Okay, so that would be the lean for that one. You want to get to NFL before we get into top looks?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's go to the NFL page. All right, so we do have a baller system on the under. Obviously, first game for both of these teams here, so we're probably not going to see too much that's helpful. This is all last season stats for both of these teams here. We do have our season previews here, so you can see some roster adjustments and all that stuff here. But what I wanted to do today is actually go to SDQL and kind of go through some things here and see how the teams have done since let's just say 2018. So we'll go season greater than or equal to 2018. Team equals Chiefs, and week equals 1. So we'll just pull in different scenarios today, just because we don't have a lot of stats to go off of for the season. But Chiefs week 1, so ATS 4-2, ATS 4-1-1 to the over. Last season they did take that first straight up L against the Lions. If we go to the Ravens side and we do the same thing, Ravens are also pretty strong in the first week. 5-1 straight up, 5-1 ATS, 3-3 on the total here. If we dive a little bit further, right? I think a lot of people, and this is what I think you mentioned too, right before the show, Munaf, a lot of people are looking towards the Ravens as dogs, right? How they've done in this role as a dog, especially with Lamar at the helm. 19-4-1 ATS in that spot here. A lot of people are probably going to be on the Ravens. I mean, I think that's been mentioned a lot on Twitter, probably, right?
Yeah.
Let's look at, was any of those week 1s a dog role?
I doubt.
Well, this is the
they
first
usually,
time. Yeah. So it's first time as a dog in week 1. Other thing I could think of, let's look at team equals Chiefs. 1-4 straight up against the Chiefs here. 3-2 ATS though. Let's see, 7. So they ended up winning this one outright. I mean, this is a pretty close number. I mean, I still would think that it's the Chiefs here.
And that week 21 includes last year's playoffs, right? That AFC Championship game, the latest game.
Right here. Yeah, week 21. That's the playoffs. Yeah. I gotta think that it's. Are you thinking like playoff revenge or what's your angle?
I think that's a lot of people's angles for the Ravens here tonight. I do like. I know we don't talk a lot about player props. I do like Derrick Henry on his rushing yards to go over. I just feel like they brought him in for a reason, obviously. Just to really ground and pound, and that's really Baltimore's MO is run first approach.
Yeah,
there's a lot of conflicting things again for both sides of this game. Like you mentioned, the Chiefs in week 1 with Mahomes, Andy Reid coming off of a quote unquote bye or extended time to get ready for a game.
Yeah.
You have the Ravens in a dog role. I did see this might be the tipping point, RC, that Trent's on the Ravens +3.
Yeah, that's I just saw that right before the show, and I was just like, that's another reason to go towards the Chiefs here. But it is tough to go against the Ravens as the dogs. But I mean, I think this is one of the situations where it makes sense, in my opinion. The thing is, all right, so if we go and look at these matchups again real quick, I think they've actually covered every single dog in this matchup. The 3 that they Ravens covered are all dogs.
Yeah.
That's tough. That is tough. So they did lose this one by 3. They lost one by 6. They won this one outright. But I mean,
this might be a good teaser option for the Ravens if you want to pair it with something else.
Would you say Ravens and over?
Yeah, I would go Ravens and over. Yeah, or if you want to go like Ravens spread and then tease it up with something else for like Sunday, I think it would be a good first leg.
Gotcha. Real quick, I do want to show before we cut out. I didn't want to go too much into this game just because I want to get to the Chiefs, but I don't know if I'm gonna get there. I kind of want to wait until Sunday's games because I have better looks on those. But real quick, I just want to talk about a road dog situation right here. Since 2018, week 1 road dogs have been really profitable against the spread here. Actually, I think it's actually more so the last 4 years. 23. Actually, no. I mean, it's been pretty consistent. There's a couple of seasons where it's been not profitable, but you can see here last
year was really good.
Yeah, 8-2 there. I mean, I would think that. I mean, the under's been pretty profitable the last three seasons as well.
Division dogs in particular has also been very profitable
in week
lately.
1. Division and dog. Division dogs, yeah, 23-11 ATS since 2018. Season 5-3, 3-3, 2. Yeah, so I mean, the dog rolling specifically has been really good over the last few years. So I would look towards more dogs than favorites in week 1. See if that trend continues there. Let's see, division road dogs. What about that? 14-9. So that means home dog. Are there any home?
Home underdogs have division has been really good
Ooh,
too.
there goes.
Yeah.
The Colts. The Colts 9-2 ATS since 2018. Only went 1-2 last season though. So the two that didn't cover were last season.
And that game last year for the Bills, or sorry, that Jets and Bills, that was a game where Aaron Rodgers got injured, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it was the first game.
Yeah, it was the first game, yeah.
Yeah. I see GB bets with a trend here. Let's pull that one up before we cut out. So game number equals 1 and home favorite. Okay.
I just hope, RC, that the Patriots just find a way to win on Sunday. That would just knock out everything in Survivor, or like at least level the field.
Oh man, I kind of wish I did Survivor this year, but we wanted to focus in on the millions. 7-0. I mean 0-7. So this is a fade spot of the Bengals. That says take the Patriots. So this goes pretty far back. I think historical trends. I like to do league wide versus team. That's just my thought process. But this one does point towards fading the Bengals and taking the Patriots. All right, let's see. Home favorites in general. Home favorites, game 1 typically win straight up. ATS not that strong. So if you get a home favorite, let me see if and line greater than -3. So the 2.5s. 24-30. So favorites under that threshold right here, like the 2.5, the key, you want to stay up to 3, right? Or the key number.
Yeah.
So home favorites game 1 are actually 24-30 straight up. So that would say fade. Damn, look at this string of L's here. Let's go season greater than or equal 2016.
What do you take a look?
This is I'll take this Sunday off. Let's just say home favorites in game 1 of the season, where they're just like slight home favorites. So under that threshold, that key number. So you're looking at 1s to 2.5s. They're 2-13 straight up. So that says fuck. That says Ravens today. I'm not fucking with it. Yeah, I'm not fucking with it. Then Cowboys on Sunday. That's pretty interesting. I didn't think that was the case here. So taking money lines on the dogs in this spot specifically would be super profitable. All right, let's go to top looks. Oh shoot. Let's go to the Money Baller first. All right, so themoneyballer.com, the site we use today to handicap the games in the WNBA and MLB, and then pretty soon the NFL here. You can see the model output doesn't show until after week 3, but we'll have all the baller systems are up and available. You can see, the rest days, schedule wise, historical matchups here from previous seasons. You could filter the games. For right now, it's filtered specifically for last season. But once we start getting this season numbers, you could unclick this obviously, and then you'll pull in our this season's numbers. And then you have the straight up ATS over unders, team totals for both the team and the opponent. there, and then ATS ranges as well. So a lot of things you could look at all at a single glance, right? Just all on one page. Really easy to use. The color coding helps pop everything, so you can identify all these profitable situations. Um, and the Discord, the free Discord here, you click on the bottom link right there, the Discord. That's a free link to the Discord. Just hopefully we get more activity in there to talk about games and all that stuff too. And yeah, that's it. So make sure you guys head over to themoneyballer.com and let's talk about the top looks. All right, Munaf, let's go with you first, and then go ahead and plug all the shows that you've been doing and are gonna continue to do as the season rolls on here.
Yeah, a lot of stuff happening right now, like you mentioned, obviously with NFL here, and we've said it a lot. I think both you and I get excited when basketball, whether it's WNBA, whether it's NBA, which is right around the corner as well. But as far as NFL goes, you could catch me, myself, and Chris over at the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. The Propcast is the official name of the podcast, just specifically talking about player props. But I will also be doing a lot of articles on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network website as well. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com. Game day previews, player props articles, all that fun stuff. And then over at pregame.com, I'll be doing a player props episode there as well. Still got MLB going on. We're going to be grinding that out to the playoff time. And then before we know it, that we'll be getting ready for NBA season as well. So
Yep.
It's busy times right now. That when we hinge the month of September through about the end of the year, going to about February,
April.
April. You got a lot of sports going on, so it's going to be busy times here. But definitely looking forward to doing all the content, and hopefully we can be even more profitable than we were last year. Across all the sports.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Last year, I learned a lot about myself with the NFL. I mean, previous seasons too, but last year specifically, I really struggled with totals. And then on the spreads, I hit over 61% on the spread. So hopefully, I'm just gonna try and stick to spreads this season, because every single season for the last 4 or 5 years, the spreads have been really what kept me up. I don't know why, the same thing with NBA last season, like getting away from the props and all that stuff. Think just kind of going back and looking at your bets. I think that's good for anyone to do, right? Just go back on the season, reflect on what happened, what worked well, what didn't, and then kind of just stick with that. So this season, just gonna stick with spreads, and then hopefully we continue to hit at that high rate here. All right, so for me on the W, I think I want to go with in the W in the top, for the top look in the W. I do want to take the Storm here plus the points. I probably will add Washington plus the points too. A lot of the things that we mentioned as far as like trends and all, recent form and all that stuff, really pointed towards the Mystics playing solid enough defense to stay close and cover that spread. For the MLB, I only have the Twins on the money line today. I don't think I'm gonna get there with anything else unless something else pops up. I didn't really. I mean, we talked about some games here on the show, but none of them really stuck out like they normally do. So probably we'll stay away from the ones that we talked about. But we did have some leans. Hopefully, you guys learned some trends or whatever it might be on these games. And then NFL. I think I'm gonna end up staying away. There's a lot of things that's canceling each other out there too. I'll just wait till Sunday because I know I have a lot better looks for the Sunday games. And then the Money Baller has the circa millions. We're gonna discuss our games. I think we actually locked in 4, so we locked in 4 games already. Today the lines locked. They locked the lines today. We're not gonna submit our games until Saturday, but we do have our top 4 plays, and then we have 3 games that we're looking at for that final one. So once that goes, we'll share we'll share all those plays over at themoneyballer.com. All right. With that said, that is the end of the show, guys. If you guys could do me a favor before you cut out, hit that like button, subscribe, share the show with all your friends. Also, like after the show ends, in the comment section, if you guys can share what you like about the show, what you don't like about the show. Share your plays that you end up taking. What we discussed on the show. If you end up taking those, that would be awesome too. Yeah, and that's it. So with that said, I always end the show like this. Whether you fade or follow, it is on you to make that call. Good luck with all your actions. Till next time, peace.